In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Dark Trooper from The Mandalorian. Hi there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Boss Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Dark Trooper from The Mandalorian. This is one of those figures that's come in one of these deluxe boxes, and we're going to check this figure out. First of all, let's take a look at the packaging. And if you do happen to enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like down below, because that does help the video and the channel. And there it is. There is the packaging with these new style packaging for the deluxe figures. No idea if they're going to continue these now they've decided to keep the plastic bubble. Maybe they will do for things that have got bigger accessories in them, but there is a picture of the actual figure that you are going to be getting in the box, and the little sort of charging unit thing that he stands in as well. We do have a sunburst sticker there with a picture of the Dark Trooper with his rocket effects. That's just showing you some of the accessories that you get inside. Dark Trooper written on the top there, Mandalorian logo, Kenner at the bottom, and there it is on the side. Another image there, and then on the back, exactly the same image once again, Vintage Collection logo, and there's all the pieces that you're getting. So you're getting the Dark Trooper, the charging sort of unit thing, 2 rocket effects, a blaster, and the separate hands. So Hasbro at the bottom there as well. So before we do crack this open and check it all out, I just want to do this. That doesn't sound good. Seems to be rattling around a bit inside there, but yeah, let's crack it open and check it out. Okay, so I didn't need to worry because all the pieces are in fact in an envelope inside. They're just rattling around in there, and there's the Dark Trooper, so that's okay. So we're going to get all the pieces out of the envelope. You get some instructions as well, which we'll check out in a second. So let's do that right now. Alright, so here's all the pieces laid out in front of you. You have to build the charging chamber. You've got his blaster there, the spare hands. You've got these little tubes which go on there. You've got the things that come out of his feet, the little rocket effects, and the Dark Trooper himself, which we'll check out in a bit more detail in a minute. Here's the instructions here telling you how to change the Dark Trooper's hands, and also the fact that the blaster attaches to the side of his leg. And on the back, it tells you how to put together the charging chamber. So let's do that right now. Okay then, so here is the Dark Trooper out of the packaging, and I've built the charging chamber. I keep calling it that. That's basically what I think it is. That's where they charge up, isn't it? They recharge their batteries in these little pods, and I only have the one, so I can't tell you whether they're going to actually connect to each other. I can't see anything obvious on the side that would suggest they do, but they would probably line up flush to each other, no problem at all. You do have the spare hands there in the fist motion, and you have the blaster effects for his feet. They're like the rocket effects there. And these 2 little things here stick out to suggest that he's either being held in there, or maybe they're supposed to connect. I think possibly in the show they connect, and when they're fully charged and ready to go, they sort of come off and allow the Dark Trooper to sort of release himself from the chamber. It is very difficult to film this guy because he is just completely shiny black. Very difficult with the lights and everything. I hope you're picking it up. But we're going to take him out of the chamber, and we're going to take a look at that chamber in a bit more detail, and then also obviously look at the figure in more detail, and then also compare him against the one that came in the rescue set, because I do have that one here as well. So we're going to do that. Okay then, so here we have the charging chamber, if you want to call it that, with those pipes sticking out. They just literally clip in. You can see where they come through the back of there, and you can see some of the sculpting detail on the back. You can see the sculpting detail on the side with some what looks like red paint going through there, or it may be some stickers. I can't really tell. They are sat within the grooves of that plastic there, and you can see the detailing, and they pretty much have the same detailing on the inside of the thing as well. So it's literally 3 pieces of plastic. It sits on the ground with the figure in. These pipes hold the figure in, and that is about it. So is this worth the extra money for the figure? I'm saying not really. I would have preferred the figure on his own on the card back, but this is what we're getting, and I'm guessing for a diorama point of view, it would be pretty cool to have, you know, 5 or 6 of these in a row with your Dark Troopers all lined up. But that's going to get expensive. Alright then, so here he is, nice up and close. You can see him. Again, it's so shiny, it's very difficult to make out the details of this figure, but we're going to get straight onto the elephant in the room about this figure, and you can see the eyes there. They're lit up red. which is a pretty cool feature when they're facing forward and when you have a light shining above the head. Now, the reason for this is because on the back of the figure, he has this like orangey red panel. You can just see it there. Now, I personally would have preferred if they hadn't have done that. I think looking at the back of the figure, I'm not going to say it ruins the figure, but I don't know, it's just a bit unsightly. I don't like it there like that. However, when you look at the figure from the front and the eyes glow, that is pretty cool. Now, I just want to bring in the other Death Trooper very, very quickly from the rescue set, because that figure does not have that feature. And if you look at his eyes, they are painted red and they are a lot smaller. There's less sort of area that's red. So from the front, I much prefer this figure than this one. But from the back, of course, this one's got the battle damage. But from the back, you know, they could have easily kept that sculpt for this figure. So that's up to you whether you like that or not. Let me know in the comment section below. But for me, he's going to be on my shelf, probably without any light coming in at the top of his head. So it might be a bit difficult to see his eyes. And also if you're sort of setting up a diorama and maybe you're having a few of them like this and side view and things like that, that does not look great in my opinion. That piece of, you know, whatever it is, like a light tunnel or something going into his eyes. But of course, from the front there, that looks fantastic. That does look great. So I can understand why they've done it. My opinion, I would have preferred it if they'd just maybe painted the eyes red, because I display my figures on a shelf. I don't really do photography. I'm not going to have a light source above his head or anything like that. Anyway, going down on the figure, you can see here he is super shiny. Very, very difficult to film on camera. And he just looks great. Loads and loads of detail. Extreme articulation on this guy. I'm going to turn him around just so you can see some of that detailing on his back. The rest of the figure is exactly the same as the one that came with the rescue set. So the only difference is really the head. And you can just see all the detailing going down. He's got those sort of rings, silver rings on his legs where all his joints are. Now, one complaint that I did have about the rescue set version is that his legs feel like they're a little bit springy. It almost feels like there's a rubber band in there. And I don't know why that is, but it just feels springy. That's all I can sort of say. It just feels a little bit different. It almost feels like a G.I. Joe figure. But there is not anything in there that's like rubber or anything like that. It is literally just those new sort of barbell hips, as it were. There's the blaster neatly stowed away on the side of his leg. That attaches by that little piece there with the hole in his leg. And he holds it pretty well as well, which we'll do in a second. But that's just something where he can store his weapon, which is pretty cool. And just once more, looking at that guy with the light coming through the head. That is awesome. Now, I did kind of know that this was going to be the case about this figure, and I was extremely worried about it. But looking at him like that, it looks really, really cool. Like that, not so much. So let me know in the comments what you think of that feature. You know, are you for or against it? I know the 8D8 figure from the Power of the Force 2 line had that feature. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. The shoulder armour on top of his shoulders is of more of a soft plastic, enabling him to move his arms around. I don't think you're going to get a full 360. You might do. Oh yes, you will. Just about. So that has just the right amount of give to enable that arm to go around. So he's got ball jointed shoulders. He has hinges at the elbows, hinges at the wrists. We've got the removable hands, which we'll do in a second. He has two hinges on the neck. So he has one at the lower neck, enabling the whole neck piece to move like this. And then the head moves independently from that joint. And that is on like a barbell. So you get extreme movement on that head. The torso, he has the upper torso split there on a ball, which can swivel as well. No swivel at the waist. He has the new hips, as we mentioned. He has a split at the thigh, which is covered with the armour. He has the hinge at the knee and the hinge at the ankle with the rocker. And just a quick shot there with the blaster in his hand. It fits well. You know, it's not going anywhere. Doesn't have a sort of trigger guard on there, so his finger just sort of hangs over, as you can see there. Pretty cool. He has the clench fist hands, which are interchangeable with the other hands, so I will just do that now for you to demonstrate. So there we go with the hands changed with the fists. The fists look a little bit small if you ask me, compared to the other hands. So there's one of the other hands. Obviously he's clenching the fist, so that could be the reason, but I don't know. It might just be my eyes on that one, but to me they look just on the small side. You can see that on the bottom of his feet he has 2 peg holes, one in the center for a stand and one on the heel for your blast effects. So let's quickly do that. I may have actually got that the wrong way round actually. I think the blast effects go into the center of the foot rather than on the heel. They seem to fit better there, and then you can see some kind of blast sort of pose there with the neck back. The torso sort of helps in that respect as well, and obviously the articulation on the legs allows you to get him in that sort of you know, almost like Rocketeer mode sort of thing. And finally, I thought I'd line him up with some other figures so you can get a sense of scale, because the Dark Troopers are supposed to be reasonably tall, and you can see there that he is clearly taller than the Mandalorian. Maybe needs to be a little bit taller, and obviously not as big as Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is a tall guy. So that just gives you a sense of scale. I'm thinking that possibly the Dark Troopers need to be ever so slightly taller, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this review. Let me know your thoughts, as I said before, especially about the thing that lets the light into the eyes. He looks pretty cool like that, but on the back, not so much. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we shall see you on the next one.